about hunting. I've been a member of Potomac Hunt since 2014 when I did the 6-cap package, and that was a great way for me to get started, and I actually hunted a lot more than I expected with the August and September. There's some special deals with that. And so it really hasn't been that long that I'm hunting, and I'm just really, really proud and happy to have all of you here, that I can help you and encourage new fox hunters. Because I thought that fox hunting was gonna be like a once-in-a-lifetime experience for me. And coming up on almost 100 hunts now, look what happened. Like, now it's become the focus of my life. So I first heard about fox hunting through reading the murder mysteries written by Rita Mae Brown. And she is this hugely prolific writer. She's the master of Oak Ridge Hunt down in Virginia. And long before it was appropriate for me to read these books, I would just lose myself in them. Like, everyone who visits this town that the books are set in gets murdered. There's drugs, there's sex, there's all kinds of shenanigans that happen whenever you have a bunch of crazy horse people together.
Where is this club?
So when I was reading these books, it just seemed like fox hunting was the fabric that bound this community together. It wasn't always a central part of these murder mysteries, but it was just part of the tapestry that, you know, it was always in the background. Seemed like this combination of high thrills, tranquil appreciation of nature, and long-standing traditions. And it also seemed completely inaccessible to me. I was a teenager who was a very timid rider. I thought that, you know, the most exciting thing was galloping around my horse's field, which I look back on videos now and we're like slowly crawling along. But it was the most exciting thing in the world to me. And didn't have the resources. There were no trails. When I was learning to ride, there wasn't anyone who would have been interested in trail riding, since it was very show focused, very much, you know, you're riding in the ring and going on jumps and whatever. So I always kind of assumed that fox hunting was something for people who were braver, people who had grown up jumping 3 foot, like it was no big deal, eventing prelim. Like, I thought you had to be an amazing, like, just, I was never gonna reach that level. It was just sort of in the back of my mind. I didn't even really think about it that much because it seemed so inaccessible. Until I graduated college, I got a job, and then I started leasing a dressage horse. And not to knock dressage, I do plenty of it today, but it was a truly awful time in my life. The horse was tall, dark, and handsome, but he had horrible ground manners, and I was just starting to dread going to the barn. There's something to be said for horses' ability to keep you humble, but something has to change when you're spending hundreds of dollars a month on something you supposedly love, but makes you feel totally incompetent. So, naturally, I went the complete opposite direction, and I arranged for a day of hunting, third field, with a barn in Virginia that specialized in newbie fox hunters. And I just, like, I can still hear it in my mind, just the thunder of the horses' hoofs around me as we all trotted. And, you know, that was just trotting. That was not anything exciting, but I just remember we're on this dirt road. There's, you know, beautiful fall foliage around us, and it was just all around me. We saw the field master give this blood-curdling rebel yell. We viewed the fox. It was just like, it still turns my blood cold just to even remember it. But again, I assumed this was a one-time adventure. So I stuck with that dressage horse like a bad boyfriend. And meanwhile, I was reading everything I could about fox hunting. It was creeping forward from the back of my mind. And eventually I did get rid of that horse. I called the masters of Potomac Hunt, and I started leasing a horse from a member of the hunt. Started gaining confidence trail riding over one summer. I started to learn where I was when we would go out trail riding, like, okay, well, Slidell Road's over there, Barnesville Road's over there. I would kind of start figuring out where everything was. And I even jumped a coop. And then I quit my job. No more leasing a horse. But the members of Potomac Hunt made it possible for me to hunt several times my first season. They lent me horses, tack, trailer rides, everything. But that's actually a completely different story. Not a surprising one, though, as you get to know more fox hunters. The way this story comes to its final chapter is at the horse country store in Warrenton, Virginia. Other than Middleburg, that is fox hunting shopping heaven to me. My husband had bought me a pair of Daner boots, Thank you, Byron. And we were going to the store to pick them up. And who did I see there but the author, Rita Mae Brown? I was positive it was her. I was, in like the sock area, like, that's her. But I was too shy to approach her and bother her while she was setting up a book signing with the owner of the store. I will never forget, though, what I heard her say. She had a cane, she had just had some surgery, and she said, "I don't care if I can walk, so long as I can ride." I just hear it so vividly. And that whole ride home from Virginia, I was kicking myself. Like, how perfect would that have been if I had gotten my special fox hunting boots and talked to the woman who started it all? But I didn't. That night, though, I had a few glasses of wine, and I started Googling. I found that her farm had a phone number online. So I called it, knowing it was pretty unlikely that anyone would pick up a barn phone around 7 p.m. And I left a message saying that I saw her, thanking her for inspiring me to fox hunt and just bringing this wonderful thing into my life. And the next day, she called me back, invited me to hunt with Oak Ridge, and then I did, on her horse that she lent me. So today might be the first chapter of your fox hunting story, or it might be somewhere in the middle of your novel. Wherever you are, I encourage you to take that next twist in the plot. Be bold, ask for help if you need it, and you'd be surprised at how willing fox hunters are to get you started on this adventure.